Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar on employee assistance programs. This webinar is designed to give an overview of Global Impact's approach to employee assistance programs, outline our processes and platform capabilities, and information on how we can support a quick launch and implementation of a program to support your employees in the US and around the world. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to my colleague, Kathleen, to kick us off.
Thanks, Catherine. My name is Kathleen Lowenthal. I'm a Vice President at Global Impact and have worked here for just about 8 years, supporting both our nonprofit and corporate clients, growing philanthropy around the world. I think, for Global Impact as a nonprofit, employee assistance programs have really become core to our mission, supporting employees, supporting the most vulnerable people around the world. And it's a program that I love. It really gives us an opportunity to connect to our partners and to connect to the employees that they're serving, and to make sure that they have a program in place that can support the people that they value, the people around the world who need help during times of emergency. So I'm looking forward to talking to you today.
Thanks, Kathleen. And I'm Catherine Linsky. I've been at Global Impact for about 2.5 years, and I support all of our corporate clients in launching and designing their employee assistance programs, and looking forward to working with you all and starting our conversations.
So the approach to today's conversation, we're going to give just a quick overview of Global Impact, and then we'll go into our approach to employee assistance programs and give a little bit of an overview of the timeline from when you begin working with us to when you would actually be able to launch a program out to your staff. So as a quick introduction, Global Impact is a nonprofit organization. We were established about 60 years with a mission of growing global philanthropy and supporting the world's most vulnerable people. We've raised $2 billion since inception to support vulnerable individuals around the world. We have locations in the Washington, D.C. area, as well as a couple other places in the United States and in the United Kingdom. We are a consulting firm that serves as a trusted advisor, intermediary, and implementing partner across the private, nonprofit, and public sectors. The programs that we implement fall across 4 main areas of expertise. We kind of sit at the nexus of the private and nonprofit sectors and equip nonprofits and corporations with solutions and capacity to advance critical missions and social responsibility. So we support that across fundraising and partnerships, which is where we support our nonprofit partners to grow their fundraising success. Employee engagement and corporate social responsibility, where we're supporting corporate partners with everything from employee engagement, workplace giving, CSR programs, international grant making, and disaster response and employee assistance. Finance and business services serves almost as a bank or an outsourced financial function to support nonprofit partners, as well as our grant-making function for our corporate partners. And finally, in-country program design and delivery. We work in several countries working with corporate partners to help them implement charitable programs supporting communities where they have business presence. So as I mentioned, with CSR and employee engagement, we really focus on 3 main areas. One of those is helping to design and implement corporate philanthropy strategy. We have a long history of employee giving and engagement, from the planning stages all the way through to managing and executing large workplace giving and employee giving campaigns. And then finally, disaster response and employee assistance implementation. The approach to our employee assistance program, we begin with initial conversations to understand what are your business objectives, what are your objectives supporting employees, and what are you looking to accomplish with the program. From there, we can work with you to launch a donation platform, which is able to accept donations from your employees. We will also work with you to launch an online portal, which is where both employees who are in need of assistance can submit their applications. It's also where the application review process and decision-making process takes place. We also do the program administration. So this is the program design all the way through to program execution, making sure that you have an impartial third-party administrator to implement this program. And then finally, we disperse the grants out to the individuals who have been approved for assistance. So with that, I'm going to hand it to Catherine and let her talk through each of those steps in a little bit more detail.
Great, thanks, Kathleen. So as Kathleen mentioned, the first step to launching your Employee Assistance Fund, Global Impact would enter into a fiscal sponsorship agreement with your company. As Global Impact is a registered 501c3, we can implement a fiscal sponsorship agreement, which would allow us to receive, administer, and disperse tax-deductible charitable contributions. We wanted to make a special note here that contributions to the fund can be made by your company, your corporate foundation, your employees, and or other stakeholders around the world. As soon as the fiscal sponsorship agreement is signed, Global Impact is able to accept those charitable contributions into your Employee Assistance Fund. As we're working with you to launch the fund, we would also work directly with you to assess the unique needs of your company and your employees to inform how the program is set up. This includes talking and answering questions like where are your staff located in the US or around the world? Who will be eligible to apply for funding? Full-time employees, hourly employees, or perhaps do you also want to support any terminated or furloughed employees? Who will be able to contribute to the fund is also a big piece of this. Are you accepting corporate contributions, foundation contributions? Are employees going to be able to make contributions into the fund as well? And finally, what will the grant amounts be? Will they be flat amounts for everyone or dependent upon circumstances? And dependent upon answers to all these questions, Global Impact would work with you to design a program best suited for you, make recommendations for program framework, and which would include the following elements. With our in-house technology team, Global Impact has the ability and expertise to design and manage online donation platforms to host the fundraising efforts of your employee assistance program. Fundraising campaigns can be developed individually for each disaster or personal hardship instance. For example, you could launch just a donation page for one individual disaster, such as Hurricane Maria. Alternatively, one campaign can be created to facilitate general disaster relief donations year-round and not specifically tied to that one individual disaster. With this online donation platform, donors can make contributions in 154 currencies with credit card, e-check, or checks to colleagues during times of disaster and receive a tax receipt for their contribution. On this slide are two examples of recent campaigns Global Impact has helped to launch. These pages are customized to your specifications, including photos and content, and can align with your company brand guidelines. We'll share more specific information about timing at the end, but these pages can be launched within 48 hours. Next, to facilitate requests for assistance from your employees, Global Impact has developed a customized online platform, or employee assistance portal, as we refer to it. This online portal allows your employees to easily request assistance and allows employee assistance program administrators to review, assess, and render decisions on those requests. Through the portal, you can also track the requests from the time an application is submitted to the distribution of funding to the impacted employee. The application questions within the portal can be fully customized to meet your program requirements and include information to verify employee status, location, and bank account information. With this online platform, Global Impact has the ability to keep thorough records of all assistance requests made by employees and increase visibility as to the purpose of those distributions. As such, a complete description of the employee assistance is documented within the portal. The platform also will allow administrators to indicate the amount distributed to each employee. As you may or may not know, there are regulations on employee assistance funds. The Employee Assistance Program will need to be managed by a third party, staffed by individuals who have no financial or personal connection to the employees, and who could serve as an objective program administrator. This is to ensure that you're not seen as to be favoring one employee or another, and opening yourself up to other risk factors like this, as well as many employees would like to remain anonymous and would not like their company to know that they're requesting financial assistance. This third party can certainly be a group of people that your company puts together, but Global Impact can also assume this role and take on the responsibilities of establishing program criteria, providing oversight of the process, and reviewing applications and rendering decisions. Global Impact would work with you as we already mentioned, to define those governance framework, program guidelines, and procedures to help us identify who is eligible for the program. Global Impact would then manage the day-to-day administration of the program by reviewing requests for assistance. We score requests based on that agreed upon criteria, determine who is qualified to receive funding, and track disbursements of those funds. This leads to the last part about how we actually disperse funds to affected employees. We have two mechanisms by which we're able to do this, and we can disperse funds either via employee payroll, or we can distribute to individuals' bank accounts. If we work directly with payroll, Global Impact would work with a designated agent at that location, office, or payroll person. We would vet that individual, and then we would work with them to collect corporate payroll bank account information and disperse funds directly to that bank account. It would then be the responsibility of the distribution agent to ensure the awarded amount is dispersed through payroll to the correct individual. Alternatively, we can distribute directly to an individual's bank account. By that, we would just need to collect individual bank account information and accompanying documentations such as W-9 forms, and we would disperse those funds directly to the employees. Both of these mechanisms as well would be considered tax-free gifts to the employees. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Kathleen to discuss the timeline.
So as Catherine mentioned, this entire process can be launched almost immediately. And the first step of that, as she talked about, is working to kind of conduct an assessment and understand what the program needs are going to be. But often when you have a disaster or a hardship, the first need is really to get that application set up as quickly as possible. So we're able to launch the donation platform within 48 hours if we have the necessary information from you. And similarly with that, with the online application, we'll work with you initially to design that portal, and then it can be launched within 5 days. So both of these processes, they go in parallel, as you can see on the Gantt chart here, so that you're able to really get the program up, launched, and communicated out to your staff in a quick period of time. Once the donation platform as well as the online platform, the assistance platform, are launched, we'll start doing those application reviews. Our goal is to do application reviews on an ongoing and rolling basis so that as needed, and particularly during times of disaster, we're able to have our finance team doing distributions on a bi-weekly basis. So as the requests come in, we will be working to turn those reviews around, make the decisions on who qualifies and the amount of the grant awards, and then we'll work to be dispersing the grants. So depending on the size of the disaster, this could take a couple of weeks from start to finish, or it could be the application and the grant process could be open for months to make sure that everyone who needs help is really able to take advantage of the program and receive the assistance that they're looking for. So with that, we wanted to thank you for joining us today. Hopefully this has been helpful information. We always welcome the opportunity to speak with you, learn more about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. and see if Global Impact might be the right partner for you to build a custom solution to meet your employees' hardship and assistance requests. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We've put the email address up on the screen. You can also visit our website. We've got some blogs up there and other helpful information to learn more. And we'll look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much.